Hello and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to be explaining what is a ternary operator in JavaScript. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, everybody, so to get started in today's episode, I need you to open the same website that we have been using so far to code, and also open MDN. I'm going to be using that today, and also the code that we have been coding so far here, Visual Studio Code. Now, I'm not going to clear my code up today, and I will explain why in just a moment. But okay, let's get right into it. So first and foremost, in MDN, I need you to go ahead and type in the word here on the search box that will say ternary. Okay, just the word like that, ternary. And then you're going to have a couple of articles. Just click on the first one. Actually, there's only one article, so just click on that article itself, and then you're going to get to this page where I am at. The first thing we're going to do is read a little bit here on MDN, and I'm going to explain you then in my words what a ternary operator is. So it says here, the conditional ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes three operands: a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute the condition if is truthy, followed by colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. The operator frequently is used as an alternative of an if or else statement, which is the chapter that we previously saw. So in other words, what I can tell you that a ternary operator is, let's say that is a way to write an if or an else statement using a shorter syntax. Let's play it simple like that, okay? That's what it's called, a ternary operator. Now it's called ternary because, as I just read to you guys in here, it has three parts, okay? So that's why it's ternary. Part one is a condition. Then we have part two, which is a value to use if the condition is true. And then we have part three, which is the value that we're going to use if the condition is false, okay? So let me go ahead and actually give you an example. The reason that I didn't clear out my code is because I want you to remember how if and else statements are written. Like we have here an if and else statement, then we have here another if and else statement. So I'm going to type in today another variable, and I will type in the ternary operator just so that you can see how very similar it is to if and else statement. Okay, so let's go back to our page. Let's hit refresh just to make sure the console here is working fine. Okay, perfect. So then I am going to open Visual Studio Code, and let's go ahead and type in, let me show you an example of a ternary operator. So first, we're going to assign a variable. Let's create a variable called age, and I'm going to give a value of the number 18 to this variable. Okay, so let age be 18. Now, let's create the ternary operator. So we can say let, and we're going to create a message to display for this ternary operator. So let message, which is going to be the name of our new variable, equal to the word age, which stands for this variable right here, okay, the word age, and then we're going to use these operators, greater or equal, okay, is greater than or equal to, and then we're going to pass in here the number 18, okay, and then what we are going to do is give a space. So here we have the first condition of the ternary operator, and then as you can see, we're going to use a question mark. Because if we go back here to W3 school, it says that a condition is followed by a question mark, okay? And then we're going to use an expression to execute if the condition is truthy. Okay, so let's do that. We type in the condition, which is if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then we're open a question mark. And then here we're going to type in an expression to execute if the condition is truthy. We can call this, let's say as an example, the if statement, okay? So we can say that this portion that it's coming up right now is going to be the if statement. So then I am going to simply create a string, and I'm going to say you are an adult. Okay, just as simple like that. Then it says here that it's that after we have created an expression to execute if the condition is true, we're going to follow that by colons. Okay, so we're going to use colons right here. Let me type in colons. And then we are going to finally input an expression to execute if the condition is falsy. So after colons, then we're going to type in a string here, and then we're simply going to type in something simple. Let's say you are not an adult. Okay, let's just say it like that, simple as that. And that's it. All you have to do, and what I'm going to do, just, for the sakes of it, I'll just close it with a semicolon right there. Okay, and then what I am going to do is console.log the word message, the variable message. Okay, I'm going to console.log the variable message, and I'm going to hit save. But before you see the result on the console, I want you to understand the ternary operator. So we created a variable, then in that variable, the first portion, we create a condition, which is if the age is greater than or equal to 18, then we separate that with a question mark to type in the first statement, which is considered an if statement, okay? And that's going to say, so if this is true, then you are going to be an adult. Else, then we can consider after the, the separation for the columns, we could say the expression or whatever that we type in after the columns is going to be considered like the else statement. So we can say that this is like an else statement, and then it says you are not an adult. So if the person's age, which is right here, is greater than or equal to 18, is going to display you're an adult. Else is going to display you're not an adult. Now we're giving here an age of 18 to the first variable. So let's go ahead and hit save. Going back to our document here, let's hit refresh. And boom, it says you are an adult, as you can see. Because we assigned the value of age here to be 18, and we're getting that value passed to this message right here, to this word, because we're using that to display whatever age we input here. So let's go ahead and change the value, and let's say that this person is 15 years old. Remember, greater or equal than 18. So I'm going to make it be 15 years old. Let's hit save, and now let's see what's going to happen in the console. Let's hit refresh, and now it says you are not an adult. See, as simple as that, because the else statement here is you are not an adult. Okay, so as you can see in this example, pretty much the ternary operator tests whether the age variable is greater than or equal to 18. Now, if the value of, if it is, let's say, if it is 18 or bigger, then it displays, as you saw already, you are an adult. And if it's not, then it'll simply display you are not an adult. Simple like that. If we go ahead and change this to 25, let's hit save, then it should say you are an adult again. So let's hit refresh. And there you go. You are an adult. If I change it again and I just make this person be 5 years old, I hit save, then let's hit refresh. Now it says you are not an adult. So go ahead and actually play around with ternary operators. I'll say that pretty much, this is a way to make your code shorter and easier to read. However, I'll say that this is very good when you want to type something in real quick, but you should avoid using it for complex expressions, okay? When we get deeper into JavaScript and we write a bit of more complex code, it is usually best to use if and else statements for more complicated logics, okay? But I hope so far that you understand what a ternary operator is and that you play around with it with your code, because this is a simple way to just write a shorter code and an easier to read code. Okay, so that was it for today's episode, everybody. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye, everyone, and see you again in the next episode.